Moving on to our next chapter, that is chapter number 6, planning with limiting factors. So 2 points I need to tell you. Point number 1, we have already done this chapter without actually doing it. Sir, how? When? Huh. Aram se. Calm down. BP. We did bottleneck resources related discussions, if you remember. Alex, oh, I did not tell you guys the story, but we did the bottleneck resources. When there are limited resources available, we should not go with the unit which is giving the maximum contribution, but rather we should go with the unit that gives maximum contribution per unit of limited resource. Do you guys remember that sentence that I made you write in the class notes? I wrote myself in the class notes. I'm making you guys lazy by not even giving the class notes. Anyways, so we have this concept where throughput per unit of limited resource we did there. In bottleneck resources, throughput per unit of limited resource has to be considered. Whichever is giving you highest throughput per limited resource, that product you have to produce first. Now replace throughput with contribution. You are done with planning with limited factors. That's it. So when you have limited resources, it may be limited machinery hours, it may be limited labor hours, it may be limited factory capacity, it may be limited product demand, it may be limited raw materials. Any of the given factors, if they are limiting you, if they are reducing the quantity of production and consumption, that is called as a limiting factor. Here, instead of taking throughput per unit, we take contribution per unit, total sales minus variable cost. There in throughput, you take sales minus material cost only. Even labor costs are considered as a factory overheads in case of a throughput analysis. But here in limited factor analysis, we take the contribution per unit of limited resource, not throughput per unit of limited resource. That's the only difference. And second thing is, sir, what if there are multiple limiting factors? Then how shall we do it? What if there are multiple limiting factors? Then how will we do it, sir? Very simple. Linear programming will be done. I don't know if you guys remember it or not. There is a concept called linear programming that we do in statistics and mathematics. Business mathematics, we do something called linear programming. We form certain equations. We plot those equations onto the graphs in the form of lines, linear lines. And the intersection point is your solution for those two lines. We do that in business mathematics. I'll teach you, don't worry, we'll do everything slowly. Okay, today we'll complete this. We have 30 minutes, we'll finish this chapter. So in this chapter there are total 4 points to be considered, 4 topics to be discussed. Topic 1 is how to do maximize the contribution, how to maximize the profits when there are limited resources. Second one is how to maximize the profits when there are multiple limited resources and linear programming and equation solving. Then the third one is shadow pricing. That is the amount that the company is ready to pay for one additional unit of the limited resource. Then fourth one is the slack. That is unutilized resources or underutilized resources. So 4 points will be there in this particular topic. So let's start with our discussion now. Okay. So it's been more than 2-3 years since I taught PM, but still look at the confidence with which I'm approaching the subject. Like we took this chapter and I know these are the topics that are there and I'm able to teach you guys purely because of the conceptual clarity. If I'm trying to by heart something now, God bless my soul, I think I'll have to be one of those faculties who will go through the textbook before starting the subject, before starting the class, who solve the problems on the pen and paper, do all that stuff. Or else while teaching the class, take 10 minutes break or 5 minutes break, in between saying that I got a call or I need to attend some message, and then go check the answers and then come back to the class and teach. Fortunately, God bless, I am given the ability to not do such kind of nonsense. You tell me a topic and I'll be able to teach that particular topic. That's purely because of conceptual clarity. Till date, I might not be able to directly calculate a problem if you give me directly, but once if you give me like 5 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, I'll be able to recall the concept. I'll be able to recall the procedure that needs to be adopted, logical sequence of steps that need to be adopted, and I'll solve the problem. Definitely I'll solve that. But the thing is, I'm not someone who does it over the flow, like without thinking anything, because I derive my formula. I don't by heart my formula. So hopefully you guys also adopt that technique. What happens is, even after 10 years, somebody asks you something, you'll be able to explain them. But if you by heart a problem, after the exam, it is gone. After the exam, you will not remember anything if you by heart the formula. Never by heart any formula. Specifically for papers like costing, performance management, don't by heart the formula at all. Chalo, let's start our discussion. Let's not waste too much time. So the first point that we'll discuss is limited factors. So one limiting factor, if it is there, only one factor is limited resource, then what we will do, sir? We'll calculate contribution per unit of limited resource. Whichever product is giving me highest contribution per unit of limited resource, that product I'll produce first. Then in that sequence, I'll go to the second, third, fourth, and whatever products it is. If I'm having multiple limiting factors, I'll produce linear programming. I'll form the equations for that. Then by using simultaneous equation technique, or else by plotting those lines on the graph, the points of intersection will be observed and the point farthest from the origin will be considered as the optimum point of productions. Similarly, graphical and algebraic solutions, that is what I just told you, plotting on a graph and finding out the point of intersection. Shadow prices, how much price you are ready to pay for one extra unit of limited resource. Basically, if suppose machine hours are limited, if I'm getting one extra machine hour, somehow if I'm getting one extra machine hour, how much am I ready to pay for that? Basically, additional contribution generated by that one extra hour. That's what we'll do. And slack is underutilization. Basically, you are not utilizing to the best optimum capacity. So that's the summary of this chapter, guys. Let's do the mathematical part now. It's very easy. There's nothing complicated or anything that you need to remember or by heart or anything. So see, there are limited various constraints that are there on the company. Theory of constraints we discussed, right? So there is limited demand, there is limited skilled labor, other production resources like material are limited. Finance is limited, sir. Money is also limited. Now I just cannot produce as many units as I want. I have limited amount of capital with me. So there are lots of scarce resources for a firm. So when there is one limiting factor, what we will do, sir? I told you already. See, this is similar approach which is covered in throughput accounting. There we do it on the basis of throughput per unit of limited resource. Here we do it on the contribution per unit of limited resource. Identify the limited resource, calculate contribution per unit for all the products, calculate contribution per unit of the limited resource, of the scarce resource. And in that, or rank it on the descending order and allocate the resources using the ranking order. Simple steps. Let's see this question and then we'll move on to multiple limiting factors. X Limited is making 3 products, A, B, C. I'll do directly on Excel. Okay. X Limited is producing 3 products, A, B, and C. Okay. Agreed. Then machine hours. A is taking 10 machine hours, B is taking 12, and C is taking 14 hours. Okay. Then they are telling direct material. Direct material is 14 kgs. Direct material in kgs. Sir, try to take as much of information in Excel as possible. Split it, don't clumsy it. Take as much information as possible. Then 12 kgs and 10 kgs, and then direct material in dollars. So direct material in dollars is 0.5 cents per kg. 0.5. So that will be 14 into 0.5. That is 7, 6, and 5. Okay, these are dollar amounts, ma. So if you are worried about getting confused later, so put a dollar symbol before that, like this. Don't type the dollar symbol. Formula will not work. If you type $7, formula will not work. So please be careful. Then direct wages is also given. Direct labor. So 1.2 hours, 0.8 hours, and 0.4 hours. And direct labor dollar, what is the dollar value? 7.5 per hour. 7.5. So 1.2 into 7.5, 9, 6, and 3. 9, 6, and 3. Okay. Then variable overheads are directly given in dollars. 333. Okay. Variable overheads dollar amount is 333. Okay. Then what else is given? Marginal cost is calculated. Let's see. I'll do in a different manner. First, I'll take sales. Sales price is 25, 20, and 15. 25, 20, and 15 minus marginal cost is direct material plus direct labor plus variable cost. Okay, so this gives me contribution 25 minus 19, 654. Contribution is 6, 5, and 4. Okay, done with that. Now they are telling me maximum demand. Maximum demand is there 4,000, 6,000, 6,000. Okay. Then company C is to produce a minimum of 1000 units of product A. Okay. There is some additional information which I need to consider. Minimum units required. 1000 units of A is required. B and C, they did not give me anything. Supply of materials in the period is unlimited. Okay. Direct material is unlimited. Machine hours are limited to 200,000. Okay. So I think I'll keep that somewhere aside. Max machine hours is 200,000 and maximum labor hours are 5,000. Max labor hours are 5,000. Okay, I'll keep that aside. Now, first we need to understand what is the limited resource in this particular example, right? Okay, so what we will do is we'll calculate machine hours required and labor hours required first of all. So machine hours required, what is the maximum demand? 4,000 units. Each unit is going to take how many machine hours? 10 machine hours. So for producing A, we need 440,000 machine hours. And for B, we need 6,000 into 12. And for C, we need 6,000 into 14. So total machine hours required are how much for us? 196,000. What is the maximum machine hours available? 200,000. Sir, you guys tell me, is machine hours really limited resource in this particular case? 4,000 into labor hours of 1.2. We need 196. We have 200. So obviously it is not a limited resource. So direct labor hours required is 6,000 into labor hours 0.8. That is 4,800 and 2,400. Total hours required are 12,000. We have only how many labor hours? 5,000 labor hours. So what is the limited resource in this particular example for us? Our limited resource is labor hours. Okay. So now we established the fact that labor hours is the limited resource. So I'll just highlight it here. So labor hours is the limited resource. Now what I'll do, I'll calculate contribution per labor hour. Contribution per unit of limited resource. $6 contribution for A for how many labor hours? For 1.2 labor hours. So per labor hour, $5, $6, $10. Okay. So ranking. First we produce C, then we produce B, then we produce A. But sir, please understand, they told you already you have to produce minimum 1,000 units of A. They already told you have to produce minimum 1,000 units of A. Even though it is ranked last, you have a fixed contract and you need to produce 1,000 units. So first 1,000 units of A will take up how many labor hours? 1,000 units into each unit is going to take 1.2 labor hours. So 12,000 labor hours are there and labor hours remaining. 5,000 labor hours is what you have, minus 1,200 is consumed. Remaining labor hours is only 3,800. Then we have to produce how many units of C? Maximum demand is 6,000. Okay, so 6,000 units of C. That is 6,000 into labor hours, 0.4 labor hours. That is 2,400. Remaining will be 3,800 minus 2,400. That is 1,400. So in 1,400 hours, how many units of B we can produce, sir? 1,400 divided by 0.8. We can produce 1,750. 1,715 units of B will take 1,750 into 0.8. That is 1,400. So remaining labor hours will become 0. Everybody understood till now? Please guys confirm once. Did you understand till here? Pure common sense, man. Pure common sense. Nothing complicated in this. Okay. So how many units we should produce? 1,000 units, 100 units of A, 6,000 units of C, 1,750 units of B. Okay. So contributions 100 units of A multiplied by $6 per unit. Then 6,000 units of B multiplied by $5 per unit. Sorry, 6,000 units of C now. 6,000 units into $4. Okay. And B is 1,750 units of B multiplied by $5. So this is the total contribution is 33,350. That's it. Done. Sorted. Test your understanding one. Let's see the answer. Arre Baba. Arre Baba. Come on, come on. We have only 20 minutes. We need to finish more. Okay. 196, 12,000, blah, 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 blah. 38,750, sir. 38,750. Yeah. 1,000 units into 6 is 6,000. Array, this is 1,000 units. Now I typed 100. Okay. Typing mistake, ma. This is 1,000 units only. I did multiply by 1,000 only, but I typed here as 100. Okay. Sorry for that. It's 1,000. Okay. 38,750. Sir, see, small typing mistake gone in the answer. So please be very careful. 38,750, 38,750. That's all. Chalo. Now moving on to the second topic of discussion, that is when there are multiple limiting factors. Ma. When there are multiple limiting factors, what am I supposed to do, sir? Very simple, ma. Identify the equations and solve the equations. First, identify the equations, then solve the equations, then you are done with your answer. As simple as that. Sir, can you explain with example? Okay, wait, I'll explain with example. Okay, look at this. Look at this particular situation. There are three products, two products, product X and product Y. You have three departments, department A, department B, department C. Contribution per unit is given $4 and $8. So how many hours are required in each of the department is given. Maximum hours available in each department is given here. For department A, you have maximum 11,000 hours. Each unit of X will take 8 hours. Each unit of Y will take 10 hours. So 8 into X plus 10 into Y. So what? 8 into X. If I'm assuming X units are produced, X number of X units are produced, 8 into X plus 10 into Y should be less than or equal to 11,000. Similarly here, 4 into X plus 10 into Y should be less than or equal to 9,000. 12X minus 6Y, sorry, 12X plus 6Y should be less than or equal to 12,000. Correct? Did you guys get that, what I tried to say or not? Sir, are you able to understand the formulae, the equations? Those are called as linear equations. So once we draw those linear equations, once we draft out those linear equations, then what is left is very straightforward. You just solve those three equations and you get the answer. Okay, chalo, let me show you that here. Oh, planning with limited factors, I did not touch only till now. Good. Oh my God. Come on. Okay. So there we go. First one. Now, next one is multiple equations. So equation number 1. What is equation number 1 in this particular case? 8x plus 10y less than or equal to 11,000. 8x plus 10y less than or equal to 11,000. Then second equation is 4x plus 10y less than or equal to 9,000. 4x plus 10y less than or equal to 9,000. Third equation is 12x plus 16y less than or equal to 6y. Okay. 12x plus 6y less than or equal to 8,000. 8,000. Why am I missing that? 12,000. Okay. So these are the three equations. And then contribution line. Your contribution line is (4x plus 8y). You have to maximize this, sir. And apart from that, they told you that there is unlimited demand for X, but demand for Y is limited to 600 units per annum. Oh, another equation, sir. Y should be less than or equal to 600. Maximum demand is only 600, na? Okay, so what shall we do, sir? Very simple, ma. Very simple. You need to draw the lines on a graph and then find out the points. As simple as that. Okay. So let me tell you that how to do that. So first, take equation 1. Okay. Take equation 1. Put x is equal to 0. Put x is equal to 0 in this equation. So 10y should be less than or equal to 11,000. Y should be less than or equal to 1100. Correct? X is equal to 0. If I put 10y should be less than or equal to 11,000, y should be less than or equal to 1100. So 1100 I'll take here. Next, put y is equal to 0. 8x should be less than or equal to 1100. So x should be 11,000 divided by 8. 1375. 1375 comma 0. So these 2 points are clear. 0 comma y, x comma 0. Sir, once I get these 2 points, what I'll do is basically nothing but I'll take my chart. Okay. I'll have this chart with me, right? And what I'll do on the chart is 0 comma 1100, x0 1100 on the y-axis, 1375 comma 0 on the x-axis, and then I'll draw this line, ma. Okay, I'll draw that line here. This is equation 1, that is 1100 and 1375. Similarly, second equation, if I'm doing, so put x equal to 0, 10y is equal to 9,000, y is equal to 900. And put y is equal to 0, 4x is equal to 9,000, 9,000 divided by 4 is 2250. 2250 comma 0. So somewhere here I'll get 900 and somewhere here we will get 2250. So this line I'll have to draw. This is equation 2. Equation 2. Okay. Then equation 3, x is equal to 0, y is equal to 200. 200. 12,000 divided by 6. 2,000. Okay, sorry. 2,000 and put y is equal to 0, x will be 1,000. 1,000 comma 0. So this should come somewhere here, 2,000, and somewhere here I'll have 1,000. So I'll draw that line. Okay. And then fourth equation, y should be less than or equal to 6,000. 600. So 600 here, somewhere here we'll get. Fourth equation, this is third equation. This is 600. Okay, done, sir. Now, what is the area that is satisfying all of these conditions? Which is the area that is lying within all the 4 conditions? This area, right? I wish there is a fill color kind of an option in OneNote. Okay. So this area is the area which is satisfying all my conditions, ma. So in this area, any point is going to satisfy all the 4 equations, but I also need to maximize my profit, right? Maximize my contributions. So what I need to do, I need to find out the point which is farthest from the origin. So technically this point should be the farthest from the origin. So this is y is equal to 600 and x is equal to somewhere here, maybe 750 or 800 or something like that. That point is my optimum point. That is the point where I get highest profit. So X I should produce 750 units, Y I should produce 600 units. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what X is. You'll have to do that on the graph. Okay. $625 on the graph. It is 625. It seems. Okay. I thought it will be 700 odd. 625 it is. Okay. Got this? Okay, sir. But in exam we don't have graph now. So what we will do? Sir, in your 7th standard or 8th standard mathematics, you must have done something called linear programming, solving simultaneous equation solving or something. See, in this case, if I take equation 1 and 2, 10y gets cancelled. 4x is equal to 2000. So x is equal to 500. Do you remember something like that? Come on, guys, faster. Mathematics, sir. Equation, solving the equations. Equation 1 minus equation 2. If I'm doing 1 minus 2, what will happen? 10y gets cancelled. 8x minus 4x is 4x is less than or equal to 11,000 minus 9,000, that is 2,000. That implies x should be less than or equal to 500, something like that. Do you remember? Solving two equations simultaneously. If none of them is having a common base, then what you will do, multiply that with a common base and you will get a similar number. See, for example, 4x and 12x is there. So I'll multiply entire second equation with 3. 3 into equation 2. Number 3. So it will become 12x plus 30y less than or equal to 9,000. 12x gets cancelled. 30y minus 6y, that is 24y should be less than or equal to 9 into 3, 27 minus 12, 15. Like that, you have to solve those simultaneous equations. We'll do that tomorrow because we are running out of time. We have just 8 minutes. Oh, I guess we'll do that, but slack and shadow pricing we'll do tomorrow. Okay, chalo, we'll solve this. Another type of question. Look at this question, ma. Question number 2. Herb Science manufactures summer houses and garden sheds. Okay, I'll go to Excel. We are having 2 products, summer house and garden shed. 2 products are there. Okay, each product passes through a cutting process and an assembly process. Okay, we have cutting process and assembly process. One summer house contribution is $50. Okay, summer house contribution is $50. 6 hours cutting time. Summer house takes 6 hours cutting time and 4 hours assembly time. Okay, 4 hours assembly time. Next, one garden shed makes a contribution of $40. So it is 40 here and takes 3 hours cutting, 8 hours assembly. 3 hours cutting, 8 hours assembly. Okay, maximum 36 cutting hours available. Okay, maximum hours. In cutting you have 36 maximum hours. In assembly you have 48 maximum hours, and cutters are paid $10 per hour. Assembly workers are paid. Okay, cost for cutting $10 per hour, cost per hour, and for assembly $15 per hour. Okay, see here, if I do 36 into 10, it will show value error because I typed the dollar symbol here. That's what I told you. Don't type the dollar symbol. If you want, you can put it as a format there. Don't type the symbols at all. You will not be able to do calculations if you do type symbols. Okay, this is the information given, sir. So what is my equation in this particular case? My equation would be, if I'm assuming this to be X. Okay, right. Why are you opening now? Assuming cutting as X, number of units of summer house as X and number of units of garden shed as Y. So my equation 1 would be 6x plus 3y less than or equal to 36, and equation 2 is 4x plus 8y less than or equal to 48. Right, these are my 2 equations. 6x plus 3y, 4x plus 8y less than or equal to 36, less than or equal to 48. Sir, I don't have any common base in these two things. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll multiply equation 1 with 4, multiply equation 1 with 4, and multiply equation 2 with 6. Sir, first equation multiply with the constant of x, and second equation multiply with the constant of 1. Okay, so this will give me 6x into 4 is 24x plus 3 4s are 12y should be less than or equal to 36 into 4, 144. And similarly, this will become 4 into 6, 24x plus 8 6 is 48, y less than or equal to 48 into 6, 288. Okay, so now I can subtract 2 minus 1, equation 2 minus equation 1. Array, it's number way. Okay, I'm gonna kill this now. 2 minus 1. Okay, so that will be how much? 48 minus 12, 36y is less than or equal to 36y less than or equal to 288 minus 144, 144. That implies y should be less than or equal to 144 divided by 36. 4. Substitute in equation 1 ma. Equation 1, 6x plus 3y less than or equal to 36. 6x plus 3 into y is 4 should be less than or equal to 36. That implies x is equal to how much? 3 4s are 12, 36 minus 12, 24, 24 divided by 6. Y x is equal to 4. So summer houses are 4, garden sheds are 4, and contributions will be 4 into $50 and 4 into $40. So that's $360 is the contributions. Done? Understood or any doubt, guys? Equation 6x plus 3y less than 36, 4x plus 8y less than 48. This part, 3x, 6x plus 3y, 4x plus 8y. Then in the next question, they solved it, I guess. Okay, they drew the graphs, and this point is 4, 4, if you see. See, 4 and 4. Where are you, my dear friend? 50 into 4, 40 into 4, $360. $360. Multiply by 3, multiply by 2. I did multiply by 6 and multiply by 4. They did by 3 and 2. That's fine, no problem. Whatever you're doing, ultimately you should get the answer as simple as that. Yes. Okay. Chalo. So shadow pricing and Slack we will do tomorrow. Cool. Because we ran out of time. So we'll do it tomorrow, shadow pricing and Slack. With that, we'll finish this chapter as well, guys. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Enjoy your Sunday, Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow.